Hello and welcome to Netflix vs. Cinema, the podcast that is currently being decimated by Christmas and illness. My name is Tosin and I am your host, based up here in the middle of the country being the UK, a place called Bromsgrove. And joining me, as always, on the Isle of Wight is Shaun Harris.
Hi, yeah.
Yes, Shaun, who you might just have heard there, might be coming down with something that seems to be going around. That seems to be going around in the UK at the moment. Yeah, and so yeah, and I'm just recovering from something. We do not have Holly with us because Holly is too busy watching Night Bitch at the cinema because she is trying to get to 52 films seen in 52 weeks in the year 2024. So she went to go see Night Bitch, which is one of those films that I can't find anywhere near me. because
what's it about? What's Night Bitch about?
Night Bitch stars Amy Adams, and it's Amy Adams where she's recently had a kid and she's at home with this kid, and it seems to be a lot of, it starts off looking, well, the trailer anyway starts off looking like it's all about her mum trying to find out who she is now that she has a kid, what's going to happen to her, has she lost her identity. But then this has a weird twist in that she starts thinking that she's turning into a dog.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's not clear from the trailer whether she actually is turning into a dog or whether it's in her mind. But there's a whole bunch. It's one of these films that is arty and has like a metaphor in there, and everybody's talking about how amazing Amy Adams is, which is not really a surprise because Amy Adams is amazing. Yeah, and we also have Sharon. Sharon is not here with us because Sharon has gone carol singing because that's just the kind of person Sharon is.
Yeah,
gonna go carol singing. All right, so what we're going to do we're going to do a little bit of a review of the year, just sort of like, quick fire, ask a couple of questions. But before we do that, we have seen something in the cinema this week, and would you like to tell us what it is that you have seen in the cinema?
Yeah, I went to see Kraven the Hunter.
Yes.
Kraven the Hunter.
Yes.
And I was like, Happy John was saying, oh no, it's right. A lot of people were telling me that it wasn't good, right? I mean, I didn't see any reviews, but a lot of people were telling me it wasn't good. So, but I had a bit of time, and I thought, well, I know Kraven the Hunter from the Spider-Man comic, so I thought I'd pop and see, so I managed to catch Kraven, yeah. So.
All right, cool. And what did you think? Go on and tell us about Kraven the Hunter. Let's get this review on.
Okay, so I think with Kraven is I didn't really know what to expect from the trailer. I must be honest, the trailer didn't grab me.
Yeah.
But I found myself really, really enjoying this, and I think the reason being because it sort of, I mean, it's a fantasy film, but things that happened would have happened in that sort of thing. Do you know my beef with it? It wasn't like it wasn't, my beef with things, and I was thinking, well, I can see that happening. So basically, the story is there's a couple of sons of a rather nasty gang lord played with a Russian accent, played by
Russell Crowe.
Good old Russell Crowe with his
Russell Crowe. You know how we talk about how you have actors later in their career who are kind of going, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And I think Russell Crowe is kind of like, he's going, what accent can I do now?
Yeah,
it's like, what people group can I really, really annoy with my interpretation of the accent?
I wasn't sure if he was really like Russian or Armenian or couldn't really. I think he was supposed to be Russian.
Yeah.
And then you've got this. So, and he wants his sons to be tough guys, not fearless. They don't want to do it, and so he trains them. He wants them to not be scared of anything. These two brothers. You've got one who's fairly confident, one who's a little bit like more arty, should we say, more arty.
Yep.
But you find out why a little towards the end of the movie. So, and anyway, so they go on a safari, and the older lad gets mauled by a lion, and then a nice lady comes along, or a nice girl just happens to come along. She's been told to give this potion to someone, and gives this guy the potion. So, and he survives, and obviously he's got certain powers, and then he becomes a hunter, and he hunts all the bad guys.
Yeah.
Pretty much like that. But I found this pretty. I could see where it was going with some of the other characters that come into it. I mean, I don't know about giving spoilers, but there's a couple of other villains, should we say, or one at the end and one during.
Well, I think a big thing all over. It's been all over the internet. It's been
Oh,
all
is
over the
it really?
internet.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's been all over the internet that Rhino is in this film.
Rhino is in this one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's not even I'm pretty sure that was in the trailer.
Okay.
I don't even think that.
Right.
They're not even trying to make that a secret that Rhino is in this film.
Yeah.
And it's and Rhino is one of the sticks that people have been using to beat this film with.
Yeah. I can see why they're saying like yeah. I mean, that's fair comment on that. But
Yeah.
I mean, as for the story, I can understand because it is really like mega CGI. You can just, it's just like,
Well, yeah.
but I'm thinking more along the storyline. So rather than I'm looking at it from the fact of a storyline rather than effects film.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes the effects can spoil a movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow, I mean, the Rhino popped up in one of the Spider-Man films at the end, I think.
He did, the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah. And that looked a better Rhino, I think.
Yeah. I mean, This is a film that I struggle to get any enthusiasm up for, full stop, and that is because it's made by Sony. So this is and when we reviewed Madam Web, I went on a rant about how Sony.
Yeah, that was pretty awful, to be fair.
Yeah, I went on a rant.
And also, I don't think Morbius was particular. Was that the same?
That was the same people. Morbius, Venom, Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter. This is all of this is Sony trying to make money off Spider-Man when they don't have Spider-Man. And so they're trying to take all these people who are usually defined by being in Spider-Man's orbit and trying to make their own standalone movies, and I don't think it works. And so with this, Kraven the Hunter, even though there were some things in the trailer that I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know. Aaron Taylor Johnson seems quite committed in his performance as Kraven the Hunter. But I was just kind of like, it's Sony. They are going to mess it up because they don't know what they are doing.
It's a good observation, that, Tosin, and I do understand that. But as I say, for me personally, I quite enjoyed it. I didn't think it was. I mean, I can understand if there is all that criticism. I haven't seen too much of it. But then I'm a bit odd, aren't I? Because I tend to like films that.
That's one good thing about you, Shaun. You don't listen to what everybody else is saying, and you don't try and go like, oh, let's go with the in crowd. What does the in crowd think? Okay, actually, I too think it's derivative. Nah, you don't do any of that. You just gotta go. I like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's it. It's exactly that's it. I like it or I don't like it. And this, I mean, it's no masterpiece. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to see this again. But having said that, I did enjoy the movie. I didn't find it huffy. I wasn't me huffy puffy crossing my legs and getting really upset about things going on. And I thought, and you're right. What's his name again? Taylor Johnson? Is it Taylor?
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. I really, I was thinking, I like him as an actor. I mean, he was in Bullet Train. He was
yes, yep.
It was Quicksilver, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, in Avengers Age of Ultron. I mean, he is.
You didn't see that coming. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he is quite good. He is quite good. He was in Godzilla as well. But I don't know. I don't understand how Sony have been making these movies because they've been managing to get good people into these movies. I mean, how much? That's the thing. Okay, so Shaun has just done like a hand signal for the international hand signal for lots of money. Lots of money.
I think you nailed it when you said they're trying to cash in on the Spider-Man fame.
Yeah, thing. but then make a good film because they must have spent loads of money on getting these people to be in this film.
Yeah.
They must have spent I mean, you're talking. Look, you have Russell Crowe, you've got Alexander Nova, you got like Aaron Taylor Johnson, you like Dakota Fanning. Yeah, I mean, not Dakota Fanning, Dakota Johnson. You had in Madam Web. These films have good cast. They have people who are not cheap in them.
Yeah.
Then why the heck would you spend all that money, get all those people in, and then destroy the film?
Do you know if they're losing money or?
To my knowledge, the only one of them out of all these Sony movies that were using Spider-Man characters that has made money is the Venom movies.
Right, okay.
So Madam Web was a flop. Morbius was a massive flop. I mean, this too is not doing well. So much so that they are talking about that Sony is talking about giving the rights to all these Spider-Man characters back to Marvel.
Wow.
Selling them back to Marvel, and I'm like, yes, please, I've been begging for this for years. Yeah. Just do the right thing, because you do not know what you're doing, Sony.
Yeah, good point.
You have no clue. Yeah, okay, but anyway, okay, I have to get that off my chest. How many stars? How many stars do you give this?
I'll give this a 3-star. This is a 3-star. As I say, I didn't hate it. And I didn't mind it. It was watchable, and I didn't have too many issues with it. But I can see where the issues would come.
All right, cool. All right, 3 stars for Kraven the Hunter. Holly has seen it as well, and probably from her cinema while watching Night Bitch, she sent in. I'll give. Hang on, did you say 3 stars, Shaun?
3 stars, yeah, I did.
This is a rare occurrence where Holly has rated a film lower than somebody else.
Wow.
She says, I give Kraven 2. Watchable but rubbish. It didn't begin well. It ended better. I would not seek out again, but would have it on in the background if I were deadly bored. Oh, P.S. Russell Crowe's accent sucks. All right, cool. So that is it for Kraven the Hunter. But now we want to get into a little bit of a review of our year. So obviously we're Netflix at cinema, and so we've kind of got like a couple of questions that go on either side. On either side, review of the year. So let's kick off with the favorite thing that you've seen at the cinema. How about you? So Shaun, let's go with you, because
okay. Well, I don't think 2024 has been a classic year as such, as many of us, but it's a tough call, this one, because there's a few in the running. Mm-hmm. There's the one that you persuaded me to watch, and I'm so glad you did.
Oh yes,
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil, yeah.
Horizon, the Kevin Costner Western, which I never managed to see the part 2.
They haven't released the part 2 yet.
No, okay. Civil War, enjoyed Civil War.
Ooh,
that's another one. Civil War. Furiosa. So I mean, there is a lot of contenders, and even Love Lies Bleeding. This one here, I quite enjoyed that too. As I say, I never saw Challengers, but I think you quite enjoyed the Challengers. But
I thought Challengers was okay, but I do feel like if you're gonna have if we had like a category that was like overhyped movies of the year, Challengers would probably be on my list for one of the most overhyped movies of the year. I think a lot more was made of Challengers than it actually did. So yeah,
I have to say, right. So out of those that I mentioned, I mean, the honourable mentions. Joker as well. Part of which everybody hated, I didn't mind.
Fully I do, yeah.
But those are the ones. Those I often think with films is, if you're going to like them, is would you watch them again? Do you know what I mean? Films to watch again, rather, or films that you've seen them, and I don't know much from the rest. So I would have to say probably Horizon or Late Night with the Devil. Horizon, Late Night with the Devil. I think it's gonna have to be. I'm probably gonna have to go with Costner with Horizon. That's one
because of the widescreen. It's widescreen.
It's
westerns. It's Monument Valley.
Late Night with the Devil is certainly a close run thing.
I'm actually looking back through, because I have a spreadsheet of all the films that we review. I'm looking at my 2024 spreadsheet. I'm looking back at all the films that we reviewed this year. And I think you're right, man. I'm looking through them going like, there wasn't anything that, because I think out of all of us, I probably saw the least in cinemas this year. I'm trying to think of what I saw in cinemas that I was actually kind of like, the Iron Claw. The Iron Claw. The Iron Claw was good. The Iron Claw was very good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Iron Claw was probably my favorite, because we have Dune Part 2, which is out this year. That was all right. Godzilla x Kong was just silly, kind of like that. Let's see what we got. I think out of everything that I'm seeing on this list, it is probably between The Fall Guy, because a film that you would see again. The Fall Guy. Oh no, okay. Now The Iron Claw was a brilliant film. It was a great film, but I probably wouldn't see it again because it's a great film, but it is quite harrowing. The Iron Claw is quite harrowing. Yeah. But I think The Fall Guy is a film that, because there was some there were some wrinkles to this. I was thinking, ooh, it could be like you have like your biggest disappointment of the year and all that kind of stuff. And if I was going to say disappointment of a year, it would be that The Fall Guy wasn't a bigger hit because I thought that was a fun film. That was like, I remember sitting in the cinema and watching it and just kind of going, you know what? I don't think I've had fun like this in the cinema. Like when I'm watching something and like I'm not just analyzing it or I'm just carried along for the ride. So I probably will have to say The Fall Guy for me on that one.
Fall Guy, gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's it has to. It's probably gonna have to be The Fall Guy because I'm looking through everything else. I'm thinking, I was thinking, oh, there's all these great films that I got like loads of good ratings that I didn't watch because that was somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you have things like I'm looking, oh, Long Legs. I'm like, I didn't see that. Hundreds of Beavers.
That was one of yours, wasn't it?
Hundreds of Beavers, yeah. Hundreds of Beavers is probably one of the most unique films this year. But anyway, okay, how about the favorite thing that you have seen at home this year?
Yeah, well, I've generally been lately. I've been it's like this week. I've gone real retro, and I've watched like lots of old westerns, and I see on Amazon now they've got Go Tell the Spartans, which I think I reviewed. So I mean they don't count, but I mean
you reviewed that like on a previous podcast.
On a previous podcast, yeah. But so I'm just trying to think what I really can't remember what I watched on stream. I watched so much. I don't know if you could jog my memory on a few things.
Yeah, I'm looking back through the year now. I'm trying to figure out which was the things that you saw, which was the ones somebody else saw. Let's see, did you see Mr. Bates versus the Post Office? I think
no,
Sharon definitely see that.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I know you definitely saw Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
Oh yeah, Monarch. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I watched the Monarch. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I think that was episodic. Oh yeah. They would have what? I mean, it just shows you with the streaming. I've watched so much that I can't really remember.
I
remember cinema. I remember cinema more than I do.
Yeah, that is part of the problem nowadays, though. There's so much out there that you kind of forget things as you're watching. I mean, I watch a lot of
YouTube. I watch documentaries on YouTube. Watch a lot of football and.
And one thing, it's like everything is just sort of pushing everything else out of your head.
Yeah, it is. It was a cinema, I guess, because you actually go in there. It probably which actually makes cinema for me personally probably better. I have got a few bad ones. I got a few.
Don't worry, we will get to the bad ones.
Okay.
We will get to the bad ones. We'll get to the bad ones. Okay, I'm looking through this list for me, and I'm thinking. Well, there's Iwaju was this year. So okay, honorable mentions. There was a show called Iwaju, which is on Disney Plus, and this is the Disney essentially doing Africa. You know how Disney had this whole thing where they go around the world and we're gonna make this, and it's gonna be Mulan's gonna be in China, and this is gonna be there, and this is them. But they got together with a group who whose name I've forgotten. But they are actually it's a group that's made up of 2 Nigerians and 1 Ugandan, and they made this show with Disney, and it's set in Lagos, in the futuristic Lagos. And for me, I think that was one of my favorite things I saw this year because I'm still watching it over and over again with my kids, and just kind of going, they nailed that, they got that right. So Iwaju, I think, gets a big mention from me. Boat Story was something that I remember reviewed, and my cousin listens to us, and he went to watch it, and he was kind of like, "Oh my god, this is mad!" And I think Boat Story is mad. I would sort of like say go. I would recommend that. Shaun, both of us saw the Roadhouse remake.
Oh, we did. You're right. Yeah, we did with our. What's his name? Jake
Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. And Fury. Was it Fury? Who's the dude in it?
No, it's not. It's Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, yeah.
Yeah, it was Conor McGregor, and honestly, I remember that recently that Conor McGregor has been in the news for some untoward stuff. And I was saying, like, I know that there's a lot more repercussions that need to come for what he's been accused of. There's a whole lot more repercussions. But if it means that we do not see that character that he played in Roadhouse back again on screen in Roadhouse 2, I am happy with that. Because
I'm happy with that. I'll go with that.
God, that guy was annoying. Anyway, we'll forget about that. Oh, I remember seeing Reality. Oh, Baby Reindeer.
Well, see, I haven't seen that.
Baby Reindeer was this year. Oh, Baby Reindeer was good. Baby Reindeer was very good. There was something else I saw that I thought jumped up to the front. The Boys season 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jackpot, Past Lives. Okay, I only saw Past Lives this year. That was excellent. That was excellent.
Past Lives.
Yeah, that for me was like a 5-star. The yeah, there's nothing really that I look at and say this massively stood out for me. Well, when I did that, but I think, oh yeah, it was a film I think was released last year, but I didn't see it until this year that I saw at home, and it was called No One Will Save You.
Right.
It is on Disney Plus, and there is no dialogue in the entire film. It's kind of like it's kind of like an alien invasion movie with no dialogue whatsoever. Wow. So it's no and I thought that just the way it was done, because obviously when you don't have dialogue, you have nothing. All you have to do is work on your visuals and visual storytelling and how you do that. And I thought that what they did there was really, really impressive. So if I had to pick one thing, I'll say my favorite thing I saw at home this year will probably be No One Will Save You, starring Caitlin Dever on Disney Plus. All right, cool. Okay, and now, Shaun, you said you had like your least favorite things. So
there's a few. What have we got? We got.
So are you gonna say least favorite thing you saw in cinema?
Least favorite thing I saw in cinema. Well, I mean, again, we got quite a few ties, but Trap was pretty damn awful. For me, Trap was.
For me, Trap was the disappointment of the year.
Just totally disappointment. For me, the disappointments would be Gladiator 2 and Napoleon.
Gladiator 2 was a massive. Oh, good God, I hated that. Yeah. What was the second thing you said?
Napoleon.
Okay, yeah. Napoleon. That was this year. Napoleon was this year, and I didn't see that. I didn't see Napoleon. I still haven't seen it, even though it's on Apple TV. I haven't seen it. And
again, I think there's another Quiet Place one which I seem to remember I really hated.
Oh man! So I just realized that Ridley Scott did not have a good year with you.
Scott with
Napoleon and Gladiator.
Yeah, I know. It's funny with Ridley because I quite liked. What did he do? Kingdom of Heaven.
Yes, he did Kingdom of Heaven,
and obviously Alien. But yeah, I mean he's a bit hot and cold really. But I think he's become a bit self-indulgent myself. I think he's.
I said to him when we reviewed Gladiator 2. I think he's just disengaged. I don't think he's that interested.
No, I think you could be right.
I really don't think he's that interested. I feel like he just knocks him out. He's like, right, cool, let's make this film quickly. Yeah. And I don't feel like.
To me, Napoleon, he was trying to do a Kubrick. That's what I think. With too many flags, and just like, come on.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what I think about Ridley Scott. Right? I think Ridley Scott is a guy who's just kind of like, he's going, what? They're going to give me money to do what? Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna go ahead. Because he's 80 something now, so it's like he's like late 80s, and he's like, oh, you're gonna give me money to quick. Let's make many of these things before they realize that I don't care anymore. Let's see how many things I can make before people stop giving me money to make films.
That's good observation. That is.
Well, I really think so because he makes them really quickly, and I feel like they are well put together. Technically, they're well put together, but there's no heart. Like in a Ridley Scott film nowadays, I just do not expect any heart to be in that thing. But anyway.
On about that, was Alien Romulus out? That was out this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, Alien Romulus was this year, yeah. Alien Romulus was this year. Ooh, Poor Things was this year.
Oh, Poor Things.
Yeah, Poor Things was over here it was this year. But Poor Things was I'll just say two words, Mark Ruffalo.
That's so I'm gonna say for me, I'm gonna probably say Trap. I think Trap.
Yeah, Trap was. Yeah, I feel like Trap promised a lot, and even in the first half of the film, it was. But then it just kept. That's my review. That's how Trap ends. Trap just ends.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bit of a fart. It's a bit of a fart by the end.
It is.
Okay, how about do you have anything that was for home? Worst thing you saw at home?
I'm trying to think. Do you know, Toes? I know this sounds really, really bad. I can't even really remember any streaming stuff. Good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, so I'm sorry about that, but obviously,
no. I don't think
more cinema than.
No need. I don't think that there's any need to be sorry about that, because I think that this is because obviously when we set up this podcast, we're talking about Netflix cinema. We're talking about our tastes changing, or the ways that you go about watching things, are they changing and all that. And I think that that's a big thing, is the fact that you watch so much on streaming and so much gets produced, and so much there's like 5 new shows each week and all that nothing stands out.
No, it doesn't.
You watch so much that nothing really stands out, and because I'm looking back and I'm like, all right, we almost kind of like we reviewed that, but I think so. The things that stand out for me, I think, when it comes to things on streaming, I think things like Baby Reindeer, I'm actually kind of like quite impressed with, because I'm like, oh well, because that might stand out in the midst of all this other stuff and might make a thing. So I would say Baby Reindeer. But when it comes to the worst thing I saw on worst thing I saw on streaming, I think if something was that bad, I probably wouldn't even have bothered reviewing it.
And also sometimes I'm sure there's some stuff that I've started watching and thought it hasn't grabbed me. So
yeah, and you just go, forget about it. Let's just go. All right, cool. How about this? Okay, got 2 more questions. 2 more quick fire questions. What has been your favorite streaming platform and why?
Well, I've tended to watch more more Amazon. I've tended to watch more Amazon films lately. Mm-hmm. So, I think Apple has got some good stuff, but I'm gonna say I think Amazon probably for me would be but my favorite streaming platform at the moment, and YouTube. But you know, yeah. So, but I like Amazon because now I finally got used to it. They seem to have quite a lot of the films that I like, and like I was saying to you about
they have a lot of old school random stuff. Amazon just has a whole bunch of old school stuff. And one of the problems I find with Amazon is that they don't like finding things on there. Like they don't tell you what they have.
No, that's it. I mean, I get like a whole list. They'll continue watching because you watch this, you might like that. But they do have some. I mean, I do tend to watch films that I've seen on there before, like I say. So I watched Vera Cruz, which was a Western, and I watched and I tend to watch, which we can't use on the streaming thing, because I quite enjoy them and they're quite a good watch. And I do find stuff, and and I saw Scott of the Antarctic, The Abominable Snowman. They're good. Scott of the Antarctic. I'm sure it's black and white, but when I saw it, but it was a coloured version that they've got on there. So I think it's one of those coloured in things. But that was
they've done that. It's a Wonderful Life as well.
Great, Sink the Bismarck. All those old. So I'm going. That's sort of seems to be more my streaming thing, because as I flip through. Oh yeah, The Mummy. The old.
The original one.
And so I even watched Frankenstein the other day. So,
all right, cool.
But vampire movie. But
Frankenstein with the Boris Karloff one.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that Silent Bite, didn't I? Remember I mentioned about
Silent Bite.
That was I saw that. That was pretty good. That's a new film. That's a 2024 film.
Yeah, so Silent Bite. This is because Holly had essentially just sort of sent a message going, "Silent Bite. Oh my god, I think this was made for me."
That's.
And I was like, to be honest with you, when you listen to a title of a film called Silent Bite, it's like somebody went into a room and had a focus group focused solely on Holly and said, "Let's make something that's gonna make her stop and make her click on it in the streaming thing." Yeah. All right, cool. I think with me, I actually find I think Amazon is one of the because I think there's so many streaming platforms that even if you have access to them, I feel like there's always one that you forget about. And Amazon is the one that I've kind of forgotten about.
Yes.
It's one of the main ones that keep coming up are Netflix, because I think Netflix is still the daddy when it comes to streaming platforms.
Yeah.
I think it's Netflix, Disney Plus, and Apple TV. Those are the 3 that I find myself jumping. I find myself jumping between.
Though I subscribe, but with the Amazon, I do get that. Oh, the movie will continue. So you do get breaks in the.
Oh yes. You do have ads.
Do you get that in Netflix at all or not?
It depends on how much you pay in Netflix.
Right, I think it's the same with Amazon, because it says, "Do you want to go ad free?"
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. But anyway, because I think in Netflix I'm actually switching, because I realized that because they started clamping down on password sharing, quite frankly, their top tier thing where you pay about £18 a month doesn't make any sense anymore. It doesn't make any sense anymore because there's not enough people in my house to warrant paying £18 a month. And it's actually cheaper for me. Like, for instance, let's say my brother is sharing my Netflix account, or when Netflix used to allow that, my brother was sharing my Netflix, but they've clamped down on it now. It's actually cheaper for me to pay £5 for mine and pay £5 for his than to pay £18 for. I'm like, what are they doing? I don't understand it. So I find I watch a lot of Netflix, and I watch a lot of Netflix, I watch a lot of Disney Plus, a lot of Apple TV, and I think Netflix and Disney Plus is probably because I have kids now, and I feel like there's a lot more kids stuff on those. It's definitely on Disney Plus than there is on Amazon Prime. I actually went on there once and tried to find kids stuff, and I was like, I can't really see anything. And so because of that, I'm going to forget Amazon Prime. I'm going to forget anything. So you have those. Oh, and also Channel 4. Channel 4 obviously has a streaming platform that you can go into, but they, for some reason, did not have an app for my TV. So because of that, I have hardly watched any Channel 4 stuff this year. Because I'm like, I can't watch it on an app, I can't be relegated to watching it on a TV, on a phone, or on a tablet, or on a computer. If it's not on the screen, and they've now got an app, so we'll see what happens in the next year. Maybe that'll be the case. All right, cool. I think that is almost everything covered. And I think it's about time that because I'm pretty sure this is going to be our last thing that we record before Christmas. Probably until the new year. We'll come back in the new year at some point. I'll find out whether Holly made it to 52. Find a whole bunch of stuff out. Find out what she thinks about Night Bitch. But we'll see. But I think that is the only other question I had was the favorite cinema you visited.
Ooh, that's good. Well, I would say the one when I was in Thailand. That was where I saw Furiosa, wasn't it?
Yeah. You saw Furiosa.
So I mean, that's probably the best one I've been to. Because that was a 4DX thing with the
a 4DX proper palatial, I can imagine.
Well, palatial it was, very palatial,
so
that's probably. But also, the iSense Odeon's a good one. I like. Pooled Cineworld have got two nice screens, 5 and 6, like old, old ones. So,
well, I would say with me,
they're going to shut that, aren't they? Oh yeah, Toes. One of the ones they're going to shut. I can't believe it.
Which one? The Pool Cineworld.
Cineworld at Pool is one of the.
They're going to shut that. What? So
I mean, that's like my go-to for cult films and or niche films and two big screens. What am I going to do?
No, I think someone else is going to come in. So for instance, there's a cinema when the number 2 in my list of favorite cinemas I've visited this year is one called the Omniplex in Great Park in Birmingham. And the reason is that this used to be an Empire Cinema. It was an Empire Cinema, and then Empire went into administration, and then it turned into an Omniplex. And Omniplex seemed to be this Irish company that they're mostly based in the Republic of Ireland. That's where they have most of their branches.
Right.
But they're making inroads into England, and they seem to be buying a whole bunch of cinemas that people are going out, and they have turned this whole thing into like a full recliner cinema.
Wow.
And where the front row is sofas. So essentially, the sofas you sit down there. They're not even sofas; they're more like lounge chairs, and you put your feet you put your feet up and everything like that, and that's what you have in the front row.
The Cineworld, that could happen because the Cineworld at Poole did used to be an Empire cinema.
Ah.
It was Cineworld. Before it was Cineworld, it was Empire.
Yeah. So I reckon someone will come in, especially if it's that good, if the screens are that big, and somebody will come in and will buy it up. So I think that's my number 2, the Omniplex Cinema, because it's the one I go to the most. But my number 1 cinema that I visited this year is right at the other end of the scale from your Thailand experience. This is not palatial at all. This is just nice, cheap, easy. There's probably rats running around watching the film, but I don't care because the films were $2.99 a pop.
Oh wow, that's really good. That's good. That's great.
Yeah, that is the Premier Cinema in Romford. The Premier Cinema in Romford. I think that they might have increased the prices to $3.49 by 50p.
Is that the one where, like, as you walk along the carpets, your feet sort of go? Sticky carpets.
Very possibly.
I like those places. They're like old-fashioned-y.
Yeah, like that they have a whole bunch of rows, and like maybe half the row doesn't work or something like that. But I don't care. It's $2.99. I'm going to that cinema. I'm going. So yeah, that's probably my favorite one. But anyway, I think that is it. I think that is a wrap from us for 2025. No, 2024. Sorry, 2025 is next year. This me skipping ahead in time. Yeah, and yeah, I think until next week, or until next year, when we would see a whole bunch of stuff over Christmas. We'll probably have a bumper couple of shows when we kick off the year to say everything that we've seen and everything like that. And hopefully there'll be 4 of us in here. Hopefully you'll be seeing some adverts from us on while listening to other podcasts, as we're going to spend some money on that in the new year. It is a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me, and a Merry Christmas to all.
A Merry Christmas to all. Thank you so much for joining us. Merry Christmas.